Now, some of you may be wondering why recently I haven't done much in the way of videos pertaining to TNA, why I haven't been doing weekly impact reviews, haven't really been tweeting about the company, its product, or anything like that at all. Although, frankly, it seems like a lot of you haven't been wondering because nobody's really been asking, so apparently a lot of you probably don't care. And the simple reason is that I've stopped watching TNA, and it's not the first time that I've done it this year. But I think this one is going to last just a little bit longer. Now, earlier on in the year, I did stop watching TNA for about a little over a month heading into Slammiversary, and there were many different reasons for it. It was just the product was so bad at that time, and so many of the things they were doing I thought were completely ridiculous, even for TNA from a TNA standpoint. And then after Slammiversary, they put the belt on Bobby Lashley, and I thought, hey, you know what? I need to give this company another chance. They're doing something that I wish the WWE would do, which is give a black man a chance at their top title and give them a run with it and see what you can do with it. So I got back into TNA, and now we sit here in the middle of September, and I just have no interest whatsoever. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one, it's football season. So this time every year, I get really into football and fantasy football and everything and anything pertaining to the NFL. That's the way it's been for years. I love professional wrestling. Deep down inside, I will always love professional wrestling. But between the months of September to January, the beginning of February, my interest level in general in professional wrestling wanes significantly, and I find it waning more significantly in 2014 than it has in quite some time. And I think that comes to number two, and that is that I just have a waning interest in professional wrestling, period, right now. I'm not sure if it's maybe me starting to outgrow the art form and the genre of professional wrestling, or if it's just I've got other things that I'm focused on, other things that I think are better utilizations of my time. I don't know if it's just the fact that the product just isn't appealing to me from any company. That's part of the whole thing too. And number three, I look at TNA right now, and I just see a lack of redeeming qualities in their product. For those of you that like TNA because of its matches, well, a lot of their matches to me are overdone in terms of the stipulations. Oftentimes they're too short with disappointing finishes, a lack of real payoff, and there's a lot of times there's a lack of real compelling story heading into them. And now some of the TNA people would counter and say, well, what about the WWE? What about the WWE? Hey, like I said, waning interest for me in professional wrestling in general, partially because of football season and partially because of other factors. And the WWE, doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities to me either, frankly, at this point in time. And in some ways, I think that part of the reason, and maybe the only reason that I still watch WWE at the moment, is because of this channel. Got to have some type of wrestling content for this channel. And to those of you that say, of course you're going to choose the WWE over TNA, well, no shit. Because you got to understand, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 4 years old. So we're going back almost 3 decades now to the mid 80s. And, it was WWF. That's what I grew up on. That was always my company of choice. So, you look at it just a couple of years ago, I was watching everything. I was watching ROH, I was watching TNA, I was watching Raw, I was watching SmackDown, watching all of the company's pay per views. And now we sit here, September 2014. I refuse to watch ROH. No effing way. If I wanted to watch karate, I'd go down to a local dojo. If I wanted to see that type of crap that they do in the ring in terms of all the bumps and the stupid shit, I'd go back and watch old ECW when it was done much better. I've cut out watching SmackDown and I've stopped watching NXT again. So even from a WWE standpoint, I don't watch much of their product either. I'm not even sure I'm going to up my subscription to the WWE network. So to sit there and say, well, It's just being a WWE sheep. I'm not even banned for them at that point in time. Pretty much the only thing I'm watching is Raw, and a lot of weeks now I'm skipping through parts of it. I'm barely interested in it, and then I watch the pay-per-views, and like I said again, in large part, I look at it and feel like, frankly, there's better uses of my time, and I wonder how much longer, if things keep going the way that they go, that I'm going to continue to watch the WWE. But at least the WWE to me has a few more redeeming qualities than TNA, and part of that again could be because of history and length of time of watching the products, and therefore as a result, it buys them more mulligans, it buys them more excuses, it buys them more opportunities and time, and I'm not denying that at all. I've always kind of had a hot and cold relationship with TNA. There'll be times where I'm incredibly into the product, and then times where I've just completely or mostly distanced myself from them in the 12 plus years that they've been around. It's always been the case with me. And I also look at this too. I think reason number four is like, and this might be the biggest reason of all, is that to me at this point, I've heard nothing in terms of a real reassurance that TNA is even going to be around as a company in 2015. And I sit there and I say, how much more do I want to get engaged or emotionally invested into a company if they could potentially only be around for a few more months? I'm not saying for sure that they're going to be gone, and they very well might not be. But what if they are? Now we're getting into September here. As far as I know, and I haven't really been reading up, but I haven't really heard anybody mention about the fact that they've gotten a new television deal or anything like that. So I'm assuming that they still haven't. So I'm pretty sure that I would have heard about it. We're getting to nut cutting time, the nitty gritty, when they were already supposed to have a new television deal locked up with Spike or with somebody else, and I've heard nothing. So maybe this is a preemptive strike by my part to sit there and distance myself and say, hey, I need to step away from this because I don't want to sit there and get really engaged or really interested and really behind this product again just to have it yanked away from me and have it no longer exist, similar to what happened with ECW and WCW in 2001. I've been there before. I maybe don't want to do that again. And maybe number five, and even perhaps most significantly of all, is just that after so many years, maybe I've got tired of TNA doing the same old things. I've gotten tired of them making the same mistakes. I've been tired of them for a while of doing the same old crap. Even if sometimes the faces change, the problems seem to remain the same. Pushing the wrong people in the wrong ways, focusing on the past instead of focusing on creating an identity for themselves. Just a lot of things about the product in general. Like I said, lack of redeeming qualities about the product. And it's just frustration with this company in general. They can't consistently, effectively market, promote, and advertise themselves. Hell, they drop the ball on their switching times to Wednesday nights. It's just at some point in time, you don't want to support a loser. I'm sorry. It's the way I look at TNA as a company. They're losers. I feel bad for the people involved with the company that aren't a part of the decision making process that has led to all these stupid things that this company has done in recent years. But I just can't do it anymore, at least for now. And, there will be weeks where I'll sit there and I might watch a specific segment, like even for this week's Impact. I went and watched Bobby Lashley versus Robert Roode for the title. I watched that match. So there'll be things that I'll watch occasionally to keep connected at least a little bit, but easy enough to where I could step away if I want to. But watching their product every week, not going to do it. Watching Bound for Glory, highly doubt that's going to happen. Just I don't care anymore. And maybe again, that's a way of me protecting myself for if and when this company does go under. And I hope it doesn't. And I hope that once maybe football season is over, that I'll get a renewed interest, a renewed spark for TNA, which has happened before. Like I said, I've always kind of had a hot and cold relationship with this company. And I'll be back to watching their product every week, engaged in it, sometimes loving it, sometimes hating it, but always letting you know about it with commentary videos and impact reviews, reviews of their big shows, what have you. I just can't do it right now. You'll probably still occasionally get a TNA related commentary on this channel, but don't expect too much in the next couple of months. I've got to step away from this product. I can't take it anymore, and I just frankly don't care. When it gets to the point where I feel like I'm watching a specific show and I can't think of one reason why I am, then that's when it's time to stop watching said product. So instead of allowing that, lack of interest to skew me and just have me come on here every week and completely and totally crap on TNA and anything and everything they do, whether it deserves it, which in a lot of cases it does, or it doesn't, I just said, Sometimes if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything at all. And that's my approach with TNA right now. So if you're wondering why there haven't been impact reviews or a lot of discussion about TNA, now you know. I have to tap out right now. I can't do it. Sorry.